damn dirt. Oh. Woo! Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at my Polygon Bend R5 gravel bike. I've had this bike for about a week now, and long story short, it's a great cross-country gravel grinder. Today I want to try it in proper mountain bike trail. So we're out here at Sokol Demo Forest. So let's go check it out. So it's a gravel bike. It climbs really well on fire roads. It's super efficient. It's actually fairly supple for an aluminum bike. The geometry on it, and I can't recite the exact numbers, but I know it's got a fairly high stack, really short chainstay, a relatively long reach, really low bottom bracket. So it's fairly aggressive, except for it had tube angles, a little bit on the conservative side. I think it's running about a 71.5 head tube angle, which is kind of par for the course, but there's 5'7" with a 30-inch inseam, riding a medium frame. Bike fits me really well. I mean, you get a GRX 800 series grips and derailleur, and more importantly, GRX 800 series brakes, hydraulic brakes, for the $1,700 price point. That's kind of unheard of. So currently the bike is all stock. Haven't modified anything yet, other than I converted the wheels tubeless. So one interesting fact is on Polygon's website, they're saying that rims are not tubeless compatible, but it worked out fine as long as you put a good tape on it. And the tires, the WTB Venture, are tubeless rated. So yeah, so far it's working out okay. So that's not a problem there. Okay, here comes a little steep section. Not super steep, but definitely something to kind of keep you on your toes. All right, that's fine. Totally fun. Bike's doing well, not a problem. Okay. Drop. Oh yeah. It's kind of fun actually. It's very back to basics mountain biking. Got some roots. There you go. Roots. Nice. Nice. Piece of cake. So like I said earlier, the bike's geometry is it's pretty interesting because it's got a pretty high stack, which is great. It's comfortable. Got a nice long reach, nice and short chainstay, so the bike feels very peppy. Picks up speed very quickly. Bottom bracket's low, so it's kind of had a little bit of pedal strike there. But the upside of a low bottom bracket, of course, is the cornering. So it's all good. So far, I'm pretty stoked. All right, flow trail, segment 1. Proper mountain bike trail. Here we go. So the bike itself is built more like a mountain bike. It's got some really burly tubes on it. It's a little bit on the heavy side. I weigh this bike at about 25 pounds with pedals on it. Ooh, nice. All right. Oh, love it. This is fun. This is old school mountain biking. You're obviously not going to go as fast as if you're in an enduro bike, right? But it's kind of nice to mix it up every once in a while. Kind of keep it fresh and interesting. So there you go. Definitely loving this bike. The head tube angle is not as slack as some of the other more progressive gravel bikes out there. I think Pizzari, for instance, just released one called the Schaefer. That one's got a 69 degree head tube angle. But honestly, I think it's just fine. This bike is fine. 71.5. I don't feel like, doesn't ever feel like I'm gonna go over the bar. Got super low bottom bracket. Feels really good. You just gotta watch out for pedal strikes. Look at that guy, man. Let's bomb this shit. Oh yeah, easy peasy. Man, this bike feels pretty good. It's nice and light. I got, I think, good enough traction. Obviously, it's not a knobby tire, so can compare it to my DHF or Assegai, but it's good enough. Oh yeah. Yeah, Polygon hit it out of the park with this one. Flow trail is so beautiful right now. Euro dirt all the way. So yeah, everything on this bike feels pretty bomb-proof. Everything feels solid, robust. Components are amazing. So GRX 800 is about Ultegra level if you're going to compare it to a road bike group set. Hydraulic discs, solid, feels pretty good. Everything's pretty stock. I haven't really made any major adjustments, like I said, other than converting the tires tubeless. Yeah. You do feel the trail a lot more. Oh, feels so good out here. Okay, just got back from Sokol Demo Forest. Had a fun ride today. It was an amazing day, beautiful weather.
immaculate dirt. And I'd like to just share my final thoughts on the Polygon Bend R5. So first, let's talk about the order process. This is actually the second bike that I ordered from Bikes Online, second Polygon bike. About a month ago, I ordered a Polygon Strada 7. I didn't like that bike as much, so I ended up returning it. The return process was very easy. Within a few days, I got my money back, and so I had a really wonderful experience with Polygon and Bikes Online in general. So I decided to pick up my second one. So I ordered this bike on a Wednesday, and had it at my door by the following Monday. So very, very quick shipping, no problems there. As far as the assembly process, I mean, the only thing you really need to do is put the handlebars on and the front tire, and you're good to go. I did have a couple of kind of issues with the assembly process. First is the dropper seat post cable was a little too long, so I had to kind of shorten that a little bit. Nothing too crazy. And then the other thing is the rear brake rubbed quite a bit, and you can still hear it. It's still got a little bit of brake rub. It's a little finicky to set up, but that's kind of fine for me at this point, so I'll leave it at that. One thing to note though is I did contact Polygon regarding the rear brake rub, and they said to go ahead and just take it to a local bike shop, have them fix it, and then to just turn in my receipt and they'll reimburse me for it. So I thought that was really nice of them. So riding down Flow Trail on this bike felt like kind of like old school mountain biking. It felt like the spirit of mountain biking was there. So you're not going super fast, but you're definitely picking your lines and you're having a blast. And you're always kind of at that edge of, is my bike going to fall apart, or am I going to get flat tires? So it was just fun overall. I really had a blast. So the bike is not light. It weighs about 25 pounds. Which, a lot of the gravel bikes nowadays, especially if they're steel bikes, they're probably in the mid to upper 20 pounds. So, kind of it is what it is, kind of middle of the road. It's not bad. And honestly, I did not feel it today. It climbed really well. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's got a really short chainstay and a 38 teeth chain ring. Paired with a 11 to 42 cassette. I think that's a really good drivetrain. Very solid, and you have all the low gears that you really would need. I could care less about the high gear, really. I'm not going to be racing this bike. Okay, let's briefly go over its components. First off, cockpit. Worked for me. The handlebar width worked really well for me. I really thought that I would replace it right off the bat, but I don't think so. I think it's fine as is. The wrap on it, the bar tape, it looks really cheap, but actually works really well. It's nice and grippy. The drifters are solid, of course. These are Ultegra level GRX 800. Stem is pretty standard. It is what it is, but it's a standard stem, so it's easy to replace it. Right now it works for me, so I don't see any reason for me to replace it. So it's got GRX 800 hydraulic disc brakes, which is amazing. It's got a kind of a house branded, I guess, crankset, but it's 38 tooth, which is great. And it works really well with an 11 to 42 cassette, GRX 800 derailleur, of course. Dropper post is great, worked really well, pretty reliable. So overall, I mean, for the price point, I mean, the components alone, I mean, if you look at a GRX 800 component group set, you know, you're looking at easily about $1,000, maybe $1,200 right there. So I feel like this bike is definitely a steal. Okay, so the bike's carbon fork worked really well. Really did a good job damping a lot of the vibrations. Dropper post was really reliable, and I love the fact that you actuate it by going like this rather than having a separate lever. The frame, like I said earlier, just felt really, really robust. It's nice and thick. Almost feels like a XC frame, to be honest, an XC mountain bike frame. The welds are pretty flawless. And of course, it's got a lifetime warranty, so I feel pretty confident that this bike is gonna last. Okay, so let's talk about pros. The bike is solid, it feels pretty robust. The components are great. Solid group set GRX 800. I mean, you know, I don't think you could ask for a better group set, at least not at this price point. The cockpit was very, very comfortable for me. The tires held up really well, and you know, on Bikes Online's website, they're saying that the wheel set is not tubeless compatible. Well, I converted this tubeless and, you know, rode a you know, proper mountain bike trail, and it held up pretty well. So, you know, kudos to Polygon and Bikes Online. So, the geometry is great. I felt very planted. I felt very secure on the descents, and you know, still very peppy on the climb, and you know, it's just an overall, it doesn't rode like a 25-pound bike, to be honest. So I think they really nailed the geo on this. It's very dialed. Okay, as far as the cons, really not a whole lot to nitpick about. I already mentioned the brake rub, and still got a little bit of brake rub there. I already mentioned the cable for the dropper post, which is a little too long. Shoot, other than that, maybe the weight. You know, maybe, you know, if it lost a couple pounds, it would even be a better bike. But as is, I don't really have a whole lot of, you know, really thing to complain about. It's a really good bike. It's a really solid bike. You know, not a big fan of the color scheme. I thought the fake brown army camo just looks a little cheesy, but you know, it looks a lot better in person, I gotta say, and I did get a lot of compliments on it. But that's a personal thing, and you know, I think that's a minor thing. And frankly, once it gets covered in mud, it's fine. It's all good. I think it's gonna look better once it's all covered in mud. Okay, just to summarize my final thoughts on the bike. Man, it's a killer bike. I'm so happy that I bought it. Definitely going to be a great addition to my stable. It's amazing all-round bike. You can use it as a cross-country bike. You can use it as a road bike. You can even use it as a mountain bike, really. Really nothing to change, nothing to upgrade. I'm pretty stoked, man. This is such a great bike. I think Polygon did a good job. They really hit this one out of the park. So as always, just feel free to drop your questions down in the comments, and I'll see you guys out in the trails.